welcome to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be giving you the lowdown on the DeWalt D26411 Heat Gun. Is it any good? Well, you're going to have to watch to the end of the video to find out. So I started my search online and I was blown away by the amount of heat guns out there. Some of the brands I knew, but an awful lot of them I have never heard of in my life. After a bit more searching, the cheapest heat gun I could find came in at just under £15. Now the thing is, I don't want the thing catching fire in my hand, and I definitely want it to last more than 6 months. So I decided to spend 40 quid and I bought this DeWalt model here. Let's get the box open and take a closer look. So before we get onto the tool, I'll just mention it comes in this cardboard box, so when not in use you've got somewhere to put it away. You don't get a plastic case with it, but then you're only spending 40 quid. So not a problem for me personally. I'm going to stick it in an old T-stack box that I've got. So the heat gun itself, very heavy duty, hard wearing plastics. Really nice ergonomic feel to it. Got a few places you can kind of grip it when you're using it. Up here, around here, keeping your hand away from the hot parts. Overall feels like a good quality tool. The switch for controlling the airflow is here by your finger here. So we've got two settings. The first setting puts it on 240 litres per minute, and the second one 450 litres per minute. So you've got a nice bit of control at your fingertips. Changing the temperature on the device, it's via this spinning dial on the back here. So this just turns round clockwise and anti-clockwise. So starting at 50 degrees centigrade and it goes up to a maximum of 600 degrees centigrade. So you've got a nice bit of control there. Depending on the job you're doing, you've got the heat adjustment there. Now I really like the stand on this heat gun. It's actually hidden away here on the base, so when you're using it you can keep it tucked in. When you want to put this heat gun down, this just slides out like so that way and like that way, and it just gives you a nice stable base to set the gun down. It's not going to tip over when you're using it. And this is also good for doing hands-free heating, so you can set the heat setting, you can have the materials running over the heat gun to heat them up, so you don't need to be holding the gun. Other jobs, when you do need the gun, you can just leave the stand out, pick it up and heat as you need. So it's got both. The other good thing about the stand is obviously when you finished using it for the day, you can set it down on the stand, leave it alone to cool down. When it's cooled down you can pack it away, and also when it's cool you can take the nozzles off it as well. So heat guns usually come with nozzle attachments. We've got the fishtail nozzle which just slides on the front like this, allows you to direct the heat, and we've also got this reducing nozzle here, and this just allows you to target the heat to a very small area. So these two nozzles both slide on the front and then slide off again when you no longer need them. So that's the main features of the gun, but I think the best way to show you what it's capable of is to plug it in and give it a go. Now a heat gun is probably not at the top of your tool list, however it's a very versatile tool. I initially bought it to heat up the bitumen adhesive on flash band. Since then I've realised it has a long list of uses, and I'm going to demo a few of them for you right now. So this is how I would fit flash band. I start by cutting the flash band to size with a sharp knife. Once I've done that, I get the heat gun and I gently warm the back of the flashing tape. Once it becomes nice and flexible, I start to peel off the edge backing strip. Then I stick the flash band down onto the surface, smoothing over with my hands. Then it's time to get the seam roller out, running it over the flash band and making sure to take out all the air pockets and creases. Also got to pay close attention to all the edges, making sure it's sealed really well. As well as heating up bitumen adhesive on flash band, it's also really good for heating up adhesives and sealants when you want to remove them. Time to switch out those nozzles. Heat shrinking has a wide range of uses. So I picked up these heat shrink tubing from Halfords the other day. I start by making sure the connectors are carefully fitted to the cables. Then I take the right size of heat shrink tubing and carefully slide it over the cables to the area I'm going to shrink it over. Once it's in position, I get the heat gun and gently start heating it up. This doesn't need a lot of heat. The tubing then shrinks nicely over the connection. giving it the protection and also a really nice professional look. Heat guns are also great for heating and shaping PVC pipe to suit a specific job. You can either heat up the pipe like this, so hands-free, heat gun down on the surface pointing upwards and just running the material backwards and forwards over the end of the heat gun. Alternatively, you can just lay down the material, pick up the heat gun and run the heat gun over the specific area of the pipe that you want to bend. I just had a thought. This heat gun is capable of going up to 600 degrees centigrade. Who fancies a bit of plumbing? Actually, copper pipe soldering only needs a temperature of between 343 and 370 degrees centigrade, so this heat gun is more than capable. Believe it or not, this is actually the first time I've ever done copper pipe soldering. Usually I install bathrooms with the plastic pipe and fittings. Bosh, there you go, job done. Not bad for a push-fit plumber. Now, there is one other job I'm keen to try this out on, but for that, we're going to need to go indoors. So this door frame needs the paint stripping. There's some damage down here where it's been chipped away, so we're going to have to take it all off and start again. Now, previously I have used really nasty chemicals. I've also done a lot of sanding, but the heat gun gives another alternative way of doing it without the nasty chemicals and without all that dust. Who's ready for some stripping? Behave. The hot air works to soften and slightly melt the paint. Then I just come along with the scraper and it drops off lovely. It's actually a really satisfying job. Now, as you saw at the beginning of this video, there are loads of options out there, and DeWalt do a couple of different versions themselves. So there is another version that looks exactly the same as this. It's got a max airflow of 650 litres per minute and it's 2000 watt. Still corded, but it's also got an LCD screen, although it's going to cost you twice as much as the version I've got. Now, if you want to lose the cord, and I can understand why you might want to, DeWalt also do an 18 volt cordless version. However, it doesn't get a lot of love, judging by the reviews. General consensus is it gobbles up the 5 amp hour batteries and it really doesn't produce the same amount of heat as the corded version. Maybe I'll reconsider if DeWalt come out with a 54 flex volt version, but until then I'm still happy to stick with the cord. And that's my review. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.